The air conditioning in the marble lobby of the Zenith penthouse contrasted with the heat of Alexander Thorne's restrained fury. His Italian shoes echoed across the polished obsidian floor. He had returned from Hong Kong 48 hours early, his negotiations had collapsed, and his mood was as volatile as his fortune. His reason for living, his 3 daughters, Aurora, Stella, and Lyra, identical 4-year-old triplets, were cared for by an army of staff. The newest addition, a nanny hired through an elite agency, had been in the house only 2 weeks. Alexander, known for his ruthless nature and his disdain for anything that smelled of weakness or sentimentality, was prepared to find a flaw and fire her. He opened the door to the playroom, his black leather travel briefcase still in hand. He froze. The scene was not what he expected. There were no scattered toys, and the nanny, Elara, was not distracted on her phone. Elara was sitting on the floor, legs crossed in an almost perfect lotus position, facing the 3 girls. Her simple navy uniform looked modest in the opulent room. There was complete silence, something unheard of in Alexander's life. The 3 girls were seated in front of her, copying her posture with intense focus. They had placed 3 small bowls of rice in front of them. Elara lifted one bowl, and the girls did the same. "Today, before we eat," Elara began, her voice low but steady, "we're going to remember that every grain is a gift, that we don't need more than what nourishes us." Alexander felt a chill. In this house, food was tasted, discarded, and replaced if whims changed. Abundance was the default. "Now," Elara continued, gesturing gracefully toward the bowls, "we will eat only when we are fully present. No rush, no distraction, only the taste." Alexander watched, mesmerized. His daughters, usually impatient, ate their tiny portions of rice with a seriousness that disarmed him. But what truly stunned him happened next. Elara asked them to close their eyes. "Now, Aurora, tell me," she said gently, "what did you do today that wasn't just for you, but to make someone else happier?" Aurora, the most combative, hesitated, then whispered, "I gave my extra teddy to the cleaning lady who looked tired, so she could hug it for a bit." "And you, Stella?" Elara asked the girl who always sought approval. "What did you learn today that you thought you couldn't do?" Stella smiled without opening her eyes. "I learned to button my coat by myself, and I didn't get upset when I couldn't do it at first." Finally, she turned to Lyra, the most observant and quiet. "What lesson did nature give you today?" Lyra answered in a voice as soft as silk. "The wind is never in a hurry. It touches the leaves and then goes. It doesn't need to stay." Alexander felt the briefcase slip from his hand, hitting the floor with a dull thud that sounded deafening in the stillness of the room. Elara opened her eyes. They were a calm amber, showing neither surprise nor nervousness at his presence. She simply looked at him, as if patiently waiting for him to understand. "Mr. Thorne," she said, her voice free of reproach, only calm, "we're practicing mindfulness and gratitude. In a house with so much opulence, it's the only way they can understand what truly matters." He didn't look at her. He looked at his daughters, truly looked at them, not as extensions of his wealth, but as small, independent, self-aware souls. They were peaceful. They were real. Alexander cleared his throat. The first time in years he didn't know how to finish a sentence. "I never taught them that." "It's a lesson one must learn on their own," Elara replied, turning back to the girls. Now we're going to take one more minute of silence. Think of someone who made you laugh today. As Alexander stepped out quietly, closing the door with great care, the weight of his briefcase and the cost of his business trip faded beside the priceless value of what he had witnessed. He hadn't returned home for business. He had returned to see his daughters learn the secret of the soul, and it had been taught by the woman he was ready to fire.